The Gay Alliance and the Liberation Front were important leads in the LGBT social movement because many people in the LGBT community were refused medical care for many diseases and illnesses simply for being a part of the LGBT community. Although treated as a celebration, pride parades weren't always such. For many generations before ours, the LGBTQIA community was treated poorly by others and beaten down physically, emotionally, and verbally. The name's Project AIDS Memorial Quilt, often abbreviated to AIDS Memorial Quilt, is an enormous quilt made as a memorial to celebrate the lives of people who have died of AIDS-related causes. Weighing an estimated 54 tons, it is the largest piece of community folk art in the world as of 2010. The idea for the Names Project Memorial Quilt was conceived in 1985 by AIDS activist Cleve Jones during the Candlelight March, in remembrance of the 1978 assassinations of San Francisco Supervisor Harvey Milk and Mayor George Moscone. For the march, Jones had people write the names of loved ones that were lost to AIDS-related causes on signs that would be taped to the San Francisco Federal Building. All the signs taped to the building looked like an enormous patchwork quilt to Jones, and he was inspired. It officially started in 1987 in San Francisco by Jones, Mike Smith, volunteers Joseph Durant, Jack Castor, Gert McMullen, Ron Cordova, Larkin Mayo, and Gary Ushkalk. At that time, many people who died of AIDS-related causes did not receive funerals due to the fact that many of them were gays, lesbians, and transgenders.
Day for our country as the Supreme Court rules in favor of legalizing gay marriage for all 50 states. I'm here with Richard Wolf. You were inside the building. What was your initial reaction to the decision?
Well, the reporters in the building, our initial reaction was, whoa, it's coming so soon. It was the first decision announced today. It was not really expected to come today. We always thought it would be on the very last day of court, which will be Monday. It was a 4-box day in the press room, which means when you're standing there ready to collect the decisions, there were 4 boxes that these decisions were going to come out of. That's because the decision was so thick. It was a Kennedy decision, and everybody knew it would be Justice Kennedy writing the decision with the 4 liberals with him. But in this case, all 4 of the conservatives had their own dissents. So the dissents were voluminous. Chief Justice Roberts dissented vehemently, said this has no place in the Constitution. So they were very thick decisions, and it was a pretty dramatic moment. And in the courtroom, it went on for about 25 minutes. Kennedy reading a synopsis of his decision, Roberts reading a synopsis of his dissent, and there was some sort of clutching in the audience, weeping, a little bit of weeping, a little bit of hugging that went on, but usually it's a pretty decorous occasion in the courtroom, so not a lot of demonstrating.
What was the big takeaway from Kennedy's majority opinion?
Well, Kennedy said everything, pretty much everything that proponents of gay marriage wanted him to say. He said it's a fundamental right under the Constitution. He said it's allowed under the 14th Amendment, equal protection and due process clauses, both. So there really wasn't anything that was left out of his decision that proponents of gay marriage wanted to hear. He said in passing that since gay marriage is now legal in all 50 states, it's also required that states recognize marriages from other states. That would have been a fallback position had they not legalized gay marriage in all 50 states. But he went the whole 9 yards, as most people were expecting him to. And also, as most people were expecting, Chief Justice Roberts did not go along. There had been some thought that he might. It would have been a 6-3 decision, just as yesterday's on Obamacare was. But this was the 5-4 decision that everybody expected.
Covering the event, seeing the reaction, what do you think this decision means for our country?
I think that, Justice Kennedy from the bench today said something very poignant. He said, we don't always recognize what is the right thing to do in our time. He was speaking to the conservatives who didn't go along. He said he knows there's a lot of controversy about this. He knows many people would have preferred that it be done through the democratic process rather than ordered through the courts. But he is in essence saying this is something that is deserved by gay and lesbian couples. We may not have recognized it 15 years ago where gay marriage didn't exist anywhere in the world. but the Constitution, in essence, has always permitted it, and it's just now being realized. So I think this is something that is going to bring the country together gradually. Obviously, gays and lesbians will now marry just like anybody else. It'll be the law of the land. It's not going to be reversed. And I think that what you see here today is just sort of a spontaneous demonstration of support for the Supreme Court and people showing their affection, their joy, and their relief at what's finally come.
You see the unison of celebration really outside the steps here, not a lot of frowning faces today.
Right.
How do you put today in context of our history and our culture as a nation? Looking back on today, is today going to be a great step towards progress?
Today is a historic day. Sometimes it's hard to feel that in the midst of it. This is the same date, June 26th, that Windsor was decided 3 years ago, which was the decision saying the federal government had to recognize legal marriages from states where it's already legal. It's a date that has been used in the past for other gay rights decisions. The Gay Pride weekend is coming up this weekend. It's going to be a momentous occasion now in all various parts of the country. This is clearly one of the top, 20 decisions that the court has ever released. There are probably 15 to 20 very, very famous decisions in the court's 226-year history. This is certainly going to be one of them. Jim Obergefell's name will go down in history as the lead plaintiff in this case. There were 32 plaintiffs, but he's the first name. He's been here every day. He's been the first one online every day. He was in the courtroom today, probably out here somewhere right now. And so, yes, this is history in the making.